Hello there, you random YouTube viewer, and welcome to watch my impression video about Dust and Elysian Tail. This game did come to the PlayStation 4, I think it was last week, and same time it was also part of the game collection for those people who has the PS Plus subscription. And that was also one of the reasons why I did pick up this game. At first it did come out for Xbox in 2012, and sometime in last year it came to the PC. And back then I did watch a few videos about this game and did hear good things about this, so now I just thought that I should give this game a try and see if I would like it. Normally I don't really care so much about these 2D side-scroller type of games, and but here maybe the thing that really interested me was it was quite an action-heavy game, and maybe that's why I have to say that I was quite happily surprised when I found that I really did enjoy the game, or at least what I've played so far. And at the moment I have spent a few hours with this game, and the longer I played, the more I did get the feeling that this is a really good game. And during this video I'll be telling the reasons why I think this is good and a little bit overview about what kind of game this is. And because I think this is interesting game and good game, I thought that this deserves some kind of video where I talk about it and show you guys some gameplay. And I know that my channel is quite small, but one more video about this game couldn't hurt it, and if I'm lucky, some people might find this through the YouTube search and watch this, and maybe I can inspire him to try it out. And in this video I have cut out all the parts that are anyway showing you the story parts, and mainly those were few conversations that are related to story somehow. Not really any big spoilers, but I still want to keep it this video totally spoiler free, so yeah. And I don't really know that if you guys like to watch some dialogue so much, and yeah, there are a few moments that you can see dialogue, and a few moments and you can see me failing the game and dying, but that's how it goes. But let's talk about story a little bit. I have played, my completion percent at the moment is around 23, so I've seen good part of the game so far, and well, don't know is the story really so original idea, but I still have found it quite interesting, or at least interesting enough that I want to play this game through and see the whole story. And a little bit comparing saying something about the story and the characters. Well, think about the main character, you can see the quite classical case of the amnesia guy who just can't remember anything about himself and he's trying to find some answers. So, and then there is also the sidekick that flies around with you all the time, and I don't know, maybe some people might find her a little bit annoying, and yeah, as I might agree that sometimes feels like those some anime series characters that tries to be funny but they're really not. But with her, I find that at some points she's got quite funny, and in my papers that makes her quite okay character. But otherwise, yeah, few interesting characters here and there, but quite standard level. But we'll talk about the story parts maybe later if I at some point make another video where I go through my final thoughts about the game when I have beaten the game, or I have at least played a little bit further away, so I can see a little bit more that how does the story improve and what kind of, yeah, how it goes in the beginning or in the end of the game. But let's a little bit talk about the game's controls, and later on a little bit about the combat that is quite a big part of the game. What comes to the moving, I found it quite easy, and there haven't been any moments that I felt that, oh, I'm stuck and I cannot get any further and don't really know what to do with any jumping puzzles on or anything like that. And well, I wouldn't really say that those are puzzles, but yeah, some jumping parts. It becomes quite clear in the beginning that if you can jump somewhere, then you just haven't learned the skill to jump that far or high or grab the vines in the walls or something like that. And there also comes a little bit the role-playing elements that this game has, and when you're killing enemies you get experience that levels you up and gives you skill gems that helps you improve your stats, like your health and combat power and defense, and stat that affects your special abilities that your sidekick is using. And there's also gear that you can find or buy or craft yourself that also brings a little bit the role-playing elements in the game. And at this point, if I would be saying a few things about the crafting, with the little experience that I have about it, it's just that you need blueprints, and then what tells that what materials you need to craft it, and then you go to see the blacksmith who can create you the item that the blueprints offers you. And you can get the blueprints from treasure chests, or sometimes some enemies might also drop those, so it's sometimes quite random that where you get them and what kind of blueprints you get, but quite often those have been some kind of improvement for my gear, at least so far. But yeah, will be interesting to see that what is going to be in the later of the game. And collecting the materials for crafting, it's mainly when you're killing enemies, they sometimes drop the materials and you just collect that. Or the other way is in this game there is this shopkeeper that follows you around in the maps, and not in towns there is shopkeepers, but there is this one guy who follows you when you're doing not in the town. He has this little tent that pops up when some places, and he sells all kind of gear and stuff like that. And he also sells materials for crafting, and in the beginning he has only a few options, some basic materials that you can buy, but if you sell him stuff that he doesn't have in his stock, then later when he refills his stocks, then he also refills with that same material, so you can, after that you can buy that also from him. So that's also one way to get crafting material and stuff like that. But if I go a little bit back from the original topic in this section, that controls, then yeah, I found them working quite well. And yeah, well, lost my thoughts here, but yeah, let's go. Next thing, in this video you have so far seen quite a lot of the combat in the background, and I think now it's good point to talk a little bit about that, since it's, at least for me, it feels like that's quite a big part of this game so far. So you have two kind of attack buttons. You have the normal attack and you have the special attack, and well, kind of third one, where you have the range attack that launch the special attack that your sidekick does. But with the special attack, it's mainly used with the doing combos with the normal attack, or if you don't use it that way, then it just makes a kind of AoE attack. If I remember right, it was called Dust Storm, kind of whirlwind attack that you stand still and spinning your sword and doing damage to enemies and stuff like that. And so far there isn't really that many combos that what I have seen, and at this point some of you might think that, oh, doesn't that get a little bit too repetitive too quickly if you have only a few combos that you throw there here and there. And yeah, I would kind of agree with you that, sir, when you smash those same buttons over and over again and see the same combos over and over again, it could feel that it gets a little bit too repetitive quickly. But some reason it doesn't really matter or bother to me. For me, the combat feels fun all the time. You think that one moment you're slicing patties in ground with sword combo, and next moment you fly around with your spinning attack, killing flying enemies and slashing their faces. And so yeah, for me, I think why the combat feels all the time fun is feels quite fast paces combat that feel that all the time there's something happening when you're attacking enemies or stuff like that. So for me, maybe that's the reason why it doesn't bother me so much that there is only few combos. And when you get the enemies, usually there comes several at the same time, so it feels like when you have combat, it's a bit bigger combat when there are those small guys. Of course, there are a few bigger guys that comes at one time, but yeah, with the small guys, yeah, maybe it's because it feels like there's always something happening that doesn't really matter that there's only so many combos in the game. And like I earlier said, there is the range attack that your sidekick does. With alone it does a little bit damage for one enemy, but if you combine the range attack with your Dust Storm attack, then it gets huge AoE spell that does damage for several enemies around you. So that gives you a little bit variety for the combat. So yeah, I think that's quite nice thing also. And still one of the reasons why I kind of enjoy the combat so far. But with the experience that I have so far, would I recommend this game for anyone? I would say that absolutely I would say that it's a game that it's worth to try it out. Especially if you are a PlayStation Plus subscription at the moment, then I would say that you have no reason to not to try it, because you can get it free. But still, I would say that this would be a game that even if it wasn't free, I would absolutely buy it, and I would enjoy it very much. So, and as I said that I've spent few hours it, and I think accurate number is around 4.5 hours in this game, and so like the completion percent for me was around 23 at the moment, and for me I think that 23 means that it includes story missions, side missions, and maybe treasure finding and stuff like that. So there is quite a lot of things to do, and there's also that backtracking. When you learn something new, there's always some older maps that you have done, some places that you can go now that you learn something new stuff, like grabbing the vines you can climb higher places, or sliding you can get places that you haven't earlier been. So if you really want to complete everything, then I'm sure that there is a lot of stuff for you to do. And yeah, but for my experience, I've enjoyed the game so far, what I played, and I would say that most likely this will be one of those games that I really trying to complete at some point, or at least see the story through, that what is the conclusion for the story. And yeah, I have a few other games that I'm playing at the moment and trying to make videos, and also there are video ideas that making, so but still at some point I'm interested to see end of this game. So, and if I get that far, I would say that you could expect me for some kind of video where I tell my final thoughts about this game, and we'll see that did my experiences with the first 4.5 hours give me interested enough to play through, or and does it still feel good for me. So but I think I'm going to stop talking part in here. There's still a little bit left in the gameplay that you can watch after my small little rambling in here, but we'll see in the next time, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you'll be wanting to give a shot this game. So yeah, don't know really what anything else to say. Just try it out, and if you, at least if you're a PlayStation player, then absolutely try it out. But we'll see in the next time and in the next video. So see ya.